Good morning, fellow traders. Jason here, forexsignals.com. It is 10:01 a.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday, August 17th. I hope, of course, that you're having a great day and that your trading's going well for you. I'm going to give you a quick little rundown of the markets, and then I'll give you an idea of where I'm at, where I've been, where I'm going in my own trading. And you can take that information and distill it down into your own trade ideas and trade plans. Hopefully it can help you out, maybe save you some money. Let's see, let me close a couple things down here. Cool, should be coming through okay, I think. Yeah, that looks good. So the U.S. stock markets are down just a little bit today. The S&P is down about 12 points. The Dow's down 93 points, and the NASDAQ's down about 47 points. So overall, a slightly down day on the U.S. stock market. We had unemployment claims come in about 2.5 hours ago now, 7:30 a.m. Central Time. Came out better than expected. Previous was 244,000 unemployment claims. They were expecting 240, and it came in at 232,000. So good news for the USD there. Philly Fed was also a little bit better than expected, but still a little under previous at 18.9. And the rest of the day, outside of the big news with FOMC member Kaplan speaking, it's listed on Forex Factory as a intermediate or moderate impact event, but sometimes it can be quite high impact. That's coming out in about an hour and a half. So other than that, hour and a half with Kaplan speaking, the rest of the day is pretty quiet. There's actually no high impact or even moderate impact news coming out the rest of the day, which is the way I like to trade. So Donald Trump's been tweeting a little bit, talking mainly about unrest here in the US and that kind of thing, but nothing dramatic as far as North Korea, political uncertainty. Gary Cohn that has come out a little bit here in the news in the last couple hours. But there was a sort of leak or a typo, I guess, that Gary Cohn was going to be resigning. And I'm not sure exactly what time that was, but let's see where that was. Yeah, unconfirmed. Gary Cohn is resigning. There was a tweet, and it hurt the stock market. It also shook up the yen pairs a little bit. We'll look at that, the dollar yen. He's the director of National Economic Council. And I guess the tweet was deleted afterwards. But Live Squawk, Reuters just saying that Cohen intends to remain in position as NEC director. So it can just go to show you how much type of a whipsaw we can have when there's news like that that's sort of unpredictable. Yeah, that's right, J Money. I know I didn't get to talk to Will much. I know everybody's been, not everybody, but a lot of people have been giving him their feedback as to what they like and what they don't like about the changes here at the website. My personal preference, if you're listening, Will, I think that when somebody's live, I think that it should come up right away, because otherwise you got to find the little thing that says live now. That's just one of my little things, I guess. And then they can choose to shrink it if they want. Nice to see you all. Hey, Andrew. Hope you're doing well. So I want to just start off with a little look at the momentum meter. We can see the Swiss franc is the current strongest currency across the board. The weakest currency is the New Zealand dollar, and then there's some scattering in between here. The Swiss franc is peaking up here on the hourly momentum meter divergence, and the weakest is the Canadian dollar and the euro as far as the strength overall. But you can see the Swiss in the red. I don't know how well you can see it here, but the Swiss in the red has been the strongest across the board. We saw the big rise and then the dip in the euro. So let's get into the charts, and I'll show you the trades that I've taken and what I'm in right now, and also what I'm watching for. So as you know, I think Andrew's logged in here, but he's gone for a couple more weeks yet. So I thought I'd pick up a few extra streams here, help out a little. Here's the silver trade idea that I posted just the other day. Currently short from 1710, 1711 with stops up at 1729 or so, and a profit target down at 1680. Currently in profit on silver. My trade size is 1.2 lots, so that equals about 402 USD profit so far. Debating moving the stops down a little bit. I'm thinking I'm probably going to do that here, just to control the risk slightly. Not going to go too aggressive, but pulled my stops down on the silver trade down to 1724, 1725. I still think this is looking pretty good. And like I usually say on some of these streams, don't forget to look zoom out and look at where we are in the bigger picture. You know, obviously when you're on a 4-hour time frame like this, you know, there's an uptrend, but the longer term trend is still down on silver, of course. So I'm going to keep this short trade cooking on silver. There's two other things I wanted to show you briefly. We had a nice profit target from the EuroCAD trade earlier this week. If I zoom it in real big, hopefully you can see the little arrows here. Go back down to the bar chart. That might be easier. So this is where we took the sell on EuroCAD right here. 49.67 or so. And we wrote it all the way down to our profit target for about 88 pips at 48.80. Hopefully you guys got a little piece of that one. And on the 4-hour, it was just looking a little bit toppy to me, as well as the price of crude oil. And you can read more details on the trade ID on that one if you want to look back. So we took profit on the EuroCAD. We also took profit on the dollar yen here. Hopefully you can see this. I sold and put the trade ID out as a pending order to sell at 110.80. The stops, if I scroll up a little bit, you might be able to see the red hash mark. We had stops up about 111, 111. So 111.111 were the stops. And the thing only went up against us about 13, 14, maybe 15 pips. And then it came right down to our profit targets at about 60 pips at 110.20. This trade, because of the limited risk that I had, I did let this run through FOMC. I wasn't at my charts during FOMC. Didn't have a lot of choice other than just to give up at break even or to let it run. So since I had the trade ID out and I wasn't able to access my computer, I was only on my cell phone, I wasn't able to edit the trade ID, at least that I knew of. So I just let it run and it worked out very well for about 60 pips gain. Again, that was another trade idea from just the other day. I have a long position on the dollar CAD right now as well. I'll take a look at the chat here in just a moment. So I am long dollar CAD from 26.35 roughly. And my stop down here is about 126, exactly 1.26. So this one's up a little, 10 pips or so, as high as 30. I don't have a profit target on the dollar CAD yet. This is a trade I just took not too long ago, and I was going to give it some more time to analyze. Definitely will be greater than a 1-to-1, which is what I always do. But I was looking at some fibs earlier for this daily time frame on the dollar CAD. And we did come up in the 23.6. I think if you look left where all these wicks are and how they coincide with the 38.2 fib retracement, I think that's a pretty good target right in this zone here for dollar CAD. That would make me feel pretty good if we could get up in that area here. Put a little thumbs up in there for us. If we zoom out to the weekly, you know, it wouldn't be too shocking to see that come back up to around 120, 1.30, 1.29, 50s. And we have this sort of imperfect rising trend line here. And yeah, this isn't drawn in real well, but I just want to give you the idea of what I'm watching here. It's pretty uncommon for a channel to form and to see price respect this line here. Now, again, this is the weekly. Have it break down and possibly a to B equals B to C, meaning the width of this channel on the top can become the width of the channel on the bottom, and see it retest all the way back up and then continue to push down. You can use what's called an Andrews pitchfork on this. I don't use it very often, but you can. If we take just a dirty measurement here, 600 pips. This has been about 700. But you get the idea. I wouldn't be too surprised if the dollar CAD could pull back up here a little. It would help the dollar CAD to rise if the price of crude would drop down. And we see that it has been dropping down today. We had a little spike up an hour ago, but the price of crude is still under pressure, pushing down currently at 46.91. So I'd like to see crude continue to push down to help my long trade on the dollar CAD. And again, I'm long at 26.35, stops at 1.26. Dollar CAD to the upside. Do I think we're going to get all the way up there easily? No. I mean, that's 300 or so pips up to that gray box. But you get the idea where I'm looking. This could be, you know, my dream when I trade is always to have good trades that work out, that I can step into and pyramid into and have them grow into larger lot sizes and control the risk. This has potential for that. We will know quite quickly if we're wrong or not. I mean, 127.80 or so is the next area of very strong resistance going up, and that's still over 100 pips away. So we're going to have to see how that dollar CAD plays out. I think those of you who've been watching me trade for any length of time know that the dollar CAD is my nemesis. I just tend to go in very, very hot and cold streaks with it. So one of the reasons why I chose not to post it as a trade idea. So I'm in a silver short that's doing well. Dollar CAD that's doing well. We took profit on Euro CAD short and dollar yen short. I also have a Aussie dollar trade to the downside, and I'll highlight those levels for you. And then I'll take a look at what I'm watching and see what's going on in the chat here. 79.14 is my sell price, and my stop is up here at 79.45. So the stop is roughly 30 pips, which isn't huge for the Aussie buck. The profit target's going to be down, of course, lower than 30 pips away. I didn't set it yet, but we can see this downward trend line on the 4-hour that was pretty well respected. You know, if you pick this out, I mean, it's pretty well respected. You could pull this down a little bit more and make it look pretty and all that kind of stuff. But then we had another trend line on the top. This one's a little bit more choppy to get exact, but you know, you get an idea of where it was. This isn't perfect, but you get the idea. And when I measure from the descending trend line to the top, it's around 50 pips. And to go about 50 pips up would put us at around 79.34. I feel like the Aussie buck could pull back here a ways. Hence my trade to the downside. If you zoom out to the longer term time frame, you can see we got some fairly strong support coming in at 78.36, which is the wick way back from April 17th. If we pull that back up, you can see where that line comes in. So that would be a decent target for this trade. A little bit shy of that. So 79.40 is that swing high back from April that I drew in. And you might want to put a little bit more conservative, maybe 78.52, somewhere in that area, which would still give us a nice reward to risk. 30 pip or so stop with about a 60 pip profit target. It would also coalesce nicely with this descending trend line if we could push back down. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to imagine that, would it? To see the Aussie buck pull down like this, hesitate for a little bit, and then pull back down into this area here. That would not look odd to me at all. And it could happen here with the fairly quiet news. We do have the Chinese data coming out. Where is it here? Oh, 18th and 19th. Okay. Foreign direct investment year to date over year. So I'm not too concerned with that. So I feel like this is a pretty decent little trade. Might be something worthy of posting a trade idea on. We'll have to see if the stop holds or if it's going to push all the way up to the top of the wick. You know, with the target drawn in a little bit further down now at 78.50s, this stop could be moved up a little bit further. It'd still give us a very nice ratio, you know, a 50 pip stop with a 60-some pip profit. I think I'm going to be a little bit more conservative, though, and control that risk. So that's what I have for you so far. And I apologize, I haven't looked at the chat much yet, but I'm going to do that now and hopefully get a little bit of chat with you. So again, if you're tuning in late, we took profit Euro CAD, took profit dollar yen, currently in profit on a dollar CAD long, a silver short, and we're down a few pips on the Aussie dollar short. And I am eyeballing up a euro pound sell. I'm a little bit leery, but that's the next thing I was looking at. I'm going to avoid the yen pairs right now. I'm overall biased to see the yen pairs go down a little bit because the stock markets are down. You know, there's been some uncertainty here. That little false information that came across the news wires with Gary Cohen. Just news coming across. Live Squawk. La Vanguardia reporting that a van has crashed into dozens of people in Barcelona's city center. You know, just sad stuff. These cars running into people. I mean, it's just craziness. But I try to be optimistic, guy. Let's see what we got. All right, let me shrink this video down. J Money says, keep it coming, Silver. Right on, man. Andrew says, on vacation and long euro dollar all the way to 117.90. Yeah, that could work out pretty well. Let's see. Yeah, J Money, you prefer that too. Missed a bit of the beginning. And if you're new here, I know the site's being changed right now, but you can always watch the previous streams. You just click on it and you can find the recorded video. But I'm a fan. I'm not doing a poll or anything, but I'm a fan of when somebody's streaming live, whether it's me or Leo or Andrew or Tony or Nick or whoever, I'm a fan of it popping up right in the middle of the screen. I like that. If you're listening, Will, because I didn't get to talk to you for so long. This time your stop loss and take profit are the same. Sivo 12. Yes, I do take trades on my phone. So on my phone, I use my phone, my iPad to watch things. I got laptop. I got this trading setup that, of course, you can't see. It's got 4 monitors here with another screen detached. So I do all my analysis here, but I do enter and exit trades on my phone. I prefer only to exit, though, because I always feel like I'm missing something if I'm on my cell phone. With the little tiny screen, I'm not able to see the news. And so most of my trading on my phone, when it is done mobile, is to get out of trades. That's usually what I do on my mobile device. Let's see. Richard 143. What do you think of Dow Jones? I think it's going to come down a little bit. It's currently at, what is it, 21,944, down 80 points. I think the Dow's going to come down a little. I really do. How far? You know, I don't trade the major indices of the world. I don't follow it. I do follow the dollar index, of course, like you can see right here. Just the daily time frame. I think the Dow's going to come down. Hey Jason, can I go long now on dollar CAD? And can you post Aussie dollar in trade idea, please? I think I might post that Aussie dollar in trade idea. Let me make a little note of this. I think I'm going to do that. We'll see how it transpires in the next 10-15 minutes, if it still looks good and if anything changes. So I'll try to get that done there. What else? Dollar CAD. Yeah, I think you can definitely go long on dollar CAD. I don't want to, tell you what to do here. I mean, obviously, I'm giving you my opinion on things and my trade advice. Let's see. Says I'm just sending a quick note here. On live stream, okay. So again, as you may know, I used to do a lot of streams, 7, 8 a week for months and months. And then Andrew did a lot more. I cut back to a couple a week. So this one isn't usually scheduled for me. So I'm sorry, I'm juggling a couple things around. But dollar CAD, I think going long is a good idea. Just remember, there's a little bit of resistance coming up. we got a little resistance coming up here about 126.25. I'm sorry, 126.52. We got these wicks that were here. We did pierce through. Back in the old days when I was trading, we used to call it greasing the pole here with these wicks. So if the wick breaks through, it's easier to continue upwards because we already broke through and took out stops and also triggered some pending orders from some of the other retail traders that are out there. So I think dollar CAD is going to go up. Keep a close eye, though, on the price of crude. If crude continues to push downwards, that's going to give more energy and more momentum to the upside on our dollar CAD long trade. Gold, gold in a way looks similar to silver, but we are coming up. I was debating taking gold as well, but 1296 is really where all these top wicks are. I mean, look, anybody who trades gold know that we're coming up on this area of resistance to the upside. So is it going to be a breakout and then continue upwards, or is it going to push down off of this resistance and move down? I'm really not at any liberty to choose on that one. I think that, it could go either way, and I don't like to be wishy-washy with things. I just am not confident enough to take it either way. So I think the ones that I have the most confidence in are the ones that I'm in currently, like silver right now. I feel better about silver to the downside than I do about gold to the downside. I think that it's pretty common sense and pretty common knowledge that if gold does break out above its areas of resistance on the longer term chart, that it's going to continue to push up higher and silver will probably come along for the ride. I just feel like the downside has more potential on silver than it does on gold. Euro Aussie, my favorite pair to trade. Really at a mixed area. I was debating between taking the Aussie dollar short or the Euro Aussie long, and I just did not get the warm and fuzzies here. I mean, we have this area of resistance coming up on the 4 hour. We have these wicks that we're contending with here. We also have this descending trend line that was drawn in on the daily chart here. That I think I drew this on maybe last week or week before, that we'd have to break through again. We are putting in lower highs. And we did take out the lows here on the daily, as you can see by this long wick. Now, some people who trade longer term charts like daily, weekly, monthly, this could be a potential rejection pattern, possibly a tweezer if it puts in another one and pushes up. But we'll have to see when the daily candle closes. I'm not one. I had a question, I think, last month from somebody. They said, "No, you wait for the candle to close to get in a trade on the 4 hour and daily." And look, I don't watch that stuff at all. Obviously, looking at patterns, you can't decide what this is going to be, this last candlestick, until it's over. But different brokers close at different times. Some of them are 4 hours, 8 hours different. I don't wait to see, when the candles close. If you're trading longer term, that's fine. But I take what's there. If it looks good now, I get in now. If it doesn't, I just wait, check back. So, I could see this. I'm more inclined to see the Euro Aussie go down than I am to see it go up, just based on this technical pattern here. However, if it's going down, that tells you I'm partially at least favoring a strong Aussie, and I think the Aussie is going to come under pressure. So I decided to stay out of this Euro Aussie trade and put my money in on the Aussie dollar to the downside instead. Here. I think that's probably the best view of it right there. Something like that. Yeah, probably the best view right there. Any of you ever use Andrew's pitchfork? I don't use it much. I mean, years ago, I used to. Now what I'll do, instead of even drawing a equidistant channel line, I'll just draw my trend lines and know that they're not perfect. What do you think of gold? I think I covered that one. I'm very mixed on gold right now. If it's going to break out to the upside or if it's going to come down, I think it's really, I hate to say it, but it's up to the markets. I really am not in a position right now to take a side either way. I suppose if you wanted to get in on a trade, like I used to say, probably not politically correct these days, but if someone had a gun to my head and said, you got to take a trade on gold, what's it going to be? I'd probably be selling it right here with my stops above the highs. But of course, we have 1,300 coming up. If the stops move up, they're going to be, I'm sorry, if the price moves up, stops are going to be hit. All sorts of pending buy orders are going to be hit. We're going to see a lot of volatility coming right in around 12.96 on gold. So just because of the uncertainty with that trade, I'm just going to choose to stay out. Again, I'm short on silver, though. Hey, Kushan. What do you think about New Zealand buck? New Zealand pairs are one of the things I just don't trade very often. I actually don't even have it up. I have Aussie New Zealand here that I've traded a few times in the past. Yeah, we had a couple winners on that. Remember that back in April and May we did pretty well. New Zealand buck. I'd have to pull it up here. Let me do that. I'm going to pull it up out of the market watch. Chart window. Hide all. And there's no real reason why I there we go. There's no real reason why I avoid the New Zealand currency. It's just that I just don't follow it as much. You know, I know I know some of the basics. I watch their news on the dairy because that's big there, and I know that it can get shaken up, no pun intended, with the earthquakes that happen there. And I just I avoid the New Zealand currency along with the Swiss currency. It's just one of those things that over the years I decided to not focus on. So I focus on the ones that are on my screen most of the time. And just to show you, in case you are newer here, I focus on euro, dollar, pound, dollar, Aussie dollar, dollar CAD, euro, pound, euro, Aussie, and then the euro, pound, and dollar, yen, and a little bit of silver and gold. That's really what I watch, and that's more than enough for me. Looking at the New Zealand dollar on the daily. Let's just go down to the naked charts here for a moment, because I haven't looked at New Zealand currency for so long. Let's take a quick top-down analysis here with you. Currently sitting right at 73, which is a pretty big figure for New Zealand dollar. See, New Zealand dollar right now, to me, is just very mixed because it's pushed down quite a ways. I mean, 300 and some points, pips, and it's pushed all the way up from the bottom, 100 and some, and it took out the highs slightly. Now it's sitting in this sort of hovering around this 73. I'm just not real convinced. The reason that I don't trade it that much is I don't study the fundamentals for New Zealand dollar currency, and I would have to have some inkling of fundamental play to pick a direction and a bias right now. Yeah, I mean, there's reasons to sell and reasons to be long. So I would avoid the New Zealand dollar, at least for myself. Not telling you to do that, but I'm just not certain enough on it. And I would possibly look at something like the Aussie New Zealand instead. Even Aussie New Zealand to me is not real clean. Obviously, we're in an uptrend here on the hourly. Yeah, can't give you much feedback there. So if you don't know me real well as far as my technical and fundamental analysis, I'm pretty straight shooter. If I don't know, I'll just tell you. And Aussie New Zealand and New Zealand dollar, I'm just not at any kind of liberty to choose a side there. So sorry about that, but I guess you can take it for what it's worth. Maybe if you're mixed on it, the fact that I'm mixed on it will give you a little extra confidence that you're not missing something, at least that I don't see. How's it going, Chizuku? Welcome aboard. Opinions do make the market. I like it. And that's why if somebody posts a trade idea like myself and you get comments, or I get comments on it right away, people saying, I don't think that's going to go, or that's fine, because that's what makes the market. I mean, the whole point of the site is to create discussion and be able to hear all sides of the story. I actually don't like it when everybody agrees with what I'm saying, because If it all agrees, if everybody agrees and it all makes sense, then we might all be wrong together. So a little banter back and forth is always a good thing. Any tips for someone who is new and has only $11 PayPal money? Yeah, get more money. That's right. Open a cent account. You got it. Yeah. What I recommend for anybody who's new is to start out on a demo account. Obviously, that's the smart way to do it. And then as soon as you can, as soon as you learn the platform, you know how to buy, to sell, to put your pending orders in, you understand the spreads and slippage, and you watch for news, then I encourage you as soon as you can. It might be a little different opinion from what other people tell you, but as soon as you can do it, go live with a tiny account, because then you get the true market experience. Now, you might have watched Nick's video about A book and B book that he did overnight here, but it's just a really good video to let you appreciate A book and B book. The people who are B book, they get fills right away. The A book has to go into the real market, to the liquidity providers, and you will have that experience with a live account, unlike a demo account. So try to get live as soon as you have some inkling of what you're doing, but just start really small, whether it's 10. I mean, a lot of brokers, you can open an account for 10 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks, and just trade a penny, a pip. But at least you get the real market feel and the spreads and the slippage and the gaps and the delay when you place orders. 50 bucks. Yeah, if you open with Blueberry, I believe it is $100 now, bonus. I could be wrong on that. You got it? Yeah, LMFX is a great broker. Takes US clients. Yeah, Australian brokers, you're right. I know I'm a little delayed here in the chat, but Australian brokers that are licensed and regulated don't take US clients. Yeah, LMFX. FX Choice, decent. FX Choice we worked with for a while here at Forex Signals, but the support just wasn't there. This took too long. LMFX, if you look at the link, let's see. If you're new, just to give you this information, if you go over to the link on the side of this page when you're in the room where it says Trusted Brokers, and you scroll down to LMFX, you can actually watch a video. I think it's 3 or 4 minutes that I did explaining why I like LMFX. One of the big reasons is I know the owner pretty well. Talk with him at least a couple times a week. Nice guy. R. Richard 143 sold Dow Jones. Good. I think it's going down. Nothing worse than making money on a demo, right? UK brokers, CMC markets. Yeah, I tell you, I'm like a lot of you. I've traded with so many darn brokers. I have a closet behind me over here that literally has a whole rack full of clothes from brokers. I have jackets and hats and wallets and all this kind of promo items from all the brokers I used to use in the old days until they booted all us US clients out of there. So again, I'm taking over here for one of Andrew's streams. I'm not going to spend much more time here. It's been about a half hour already. But if you're tuning in a little bit late, I'm going to give you a 10-second recap. Again, we took profits on the trade ideas I posted this week. Euro CAD short, dollar yen short. Currently not in those trades anymore. But I am in a dollar CAD long. You can see that right there. Long at 26.34 with stops at 2600. No profit target yet. Hoping we get all the way back up around 29.50 to 1.30, but that's a long ways up. We got a lot of technical resistance coming up at 27.76, which is still a nice move up, 130 pips up. Hopefully, crude oil will continue to fall a little bit. That will help weaken the Canadian dollar. Also have the short in silver that is in profit but grinding out. Currently short at 17.11, 17.10 from the trade idea. A little bit of profit there. And then I have my sell in the Aussie dollar, which I think would be a decent trade idea to post here, especially since I drew it all up here a little bit. I think the reward to risk is pretty nice. This dark line that's coming in at the bottom here at 78.38, if you really pump your chart out a ways to the weekly, you can see the touch of the weekly wick here that was once resistance and now will become hopefully support from back on April 17th. So I'm short Aussie buck, long dollar CAD, keeping with my biases, selling silver. I'm going to avoid the yen pairs. I'm very interested in the dollar yen and what's going to happen. We had that big whip with the news. Just looking at some of my feeds here with Gary Cohn, of course, that he was resigning as NEC director, and then it came out that he is not resigning, and you can see what happened on the dollar yen. Really took a fall. And then once we found out he's not resigning, pumped all the way up, 30-some pips in a minute or less. So where's dollar yen going to go? Really tough. Really, really tough for me at this point. Not hard to pick a direction. Obviously, you can say, oh, I'm going to buy it or sell it. But what I'm thinking might happen, now I'm not certain enough, but I'm thinking, is that this whole little package here will become a head and shoulders pattern. This whole little package right here may become a head and shoulders pattern. And I'm not convinced enough to take the trade to the upside to get committed here. But that's what I'm keeping my eye on. Now, again, this is a 4-hour time frame. This would be a pretty nice head and shoulders pattern. The neckline, if it does start to move up, would be put in right around here. And of course, the way you trade head and shoulders patterns, at least the way that I do it, is to measure the tip of the head to the neckline, which is about 220 some pips, and project that way up 220 some pips. That put us at 113.20s, somewhere in this area, for a potential target way up high here. So this potential head and shoulders pattern is literally right at the point of being broken. It's got, if this pushes down another 30-40 pips in the dollar yen, this idea of a head and shoulders pattern, in my opinion, is pretty much gone. Let me just put a little note here. Possible head and shoulders setup right here. So one of the things that has really helped me in my trading over the years is just putting in thousands of hours, probably tens of thousands of hours of watching for patterns in the market. And picking up on these patterns can really help at least give you a little bit more odds of success. Cool. All right, guys and girls, I'm going to take off for now. I will be back doing the Asian session review at 8 p.m. Central Time. So that's going to put us about 9.5 hours from now. And then we'll see how these trades are going and what else is in the market. If something else comes up, I will post it. I'm thinking about maybe putting that Aussie dollar as a trade idea. I think it looks decent to me. So I'll get that done next, and I will see you later this evening. Have a great day and be safe with your trading. Take care.